Just clap it.
Take two.
Okay.
Okay. Hello!
Hello.
We're finally recording properly.
Yay!
Oh my god. Anyways, well, at least the audio is fixed.
Yes.
Yes. But another thing to be said, I hope we actually record this episode, unlike our post-Japan vlog that is going to come out eventually.
It's just a half video.
It's just a half video. It's like 9 minutes of video, and like the other hour is not non-video.
Yeah.
So, I'm pretty sure I just used a slideshow for that one.
That's okay. I
Yeah.
think that'll be fine.
You see it in this link
Somewhere.
somewhere. YouTube changes everything.
It might be out by the time that we're talking about it.
Well, yeah, it'll definitely be out.
Okay, it'll be out.
But anyways, so we're back with season 2, and we're gonna be talking about My Hero Academia. We still haven't decided on the other anime to do, but I was thinking we could just do like a small series, just like 6 episodes, like an OVA or something very small that we could tack on during the finale of My Hero, or maybe during the series. So whatever we decide to do, I will just try to include it in some way, shape, or form.
Yep.
And so, without further ado, we're just going to talk about the season premiere of My Hero Academia Season 2. So, let's just go ahead and start that. And I did a rookie move.
Why?
I didn't realize that my long time of not watching anime, I started watching the very first episode that was available on Crunchyroll for the second season. Didn't realize that whole episode was just a recap episode.
Oh yeah, they usually do that.
Yeah, and I forgot in anime they do that. And I was just like,
I mean,
I was just watching it. I was like, this is just old information. When is the new stuff coming out? And then I clicked back. I was also like, oh, 0.20 something like that. It's like the pre-roll to the season premiere.
I mean, if you look at the time slots of My Hero from then to now, it's about a month. No, not a month. It's been almost a couple of months since. Even if you look at from the end of season 3 till their expected premiere date of September.
Yeah.
Which might be wrong. It might be in spring or summer.
I thought it was spring. I think I remember when
One Punch Man's in spring.
Yeah, One Punch Man is in spring.
But,
oh yeah, I wonder if we should do One Punch. That's besides the point.
But yeah, no, there's a huge span of time between then. Unless you're keeping up with the manga,
yeah,
you're gonna forget probably.
Yeah, I think that's why the updates and everything, and not updates, but this recap episode is pretty important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I made that rookie mistake. It was really funny to me. I was running on the treadmill and I was trying to figure out why isn't there any new information.
Well, I mean, since it is a recap, do you have any favorite moments of season 1 that you really liked?
Going back to last season, I still like the training montage.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't know, it's something about the training and the way they sold the story of oh, he's building up to get this power. Those things keep me into the series, and I feel it, as long as they still be consistent about that world building, I'm definitely still gonna be part of this series, or not part of the series, but I'll still be invested in these characters.
I see.
Yeah,
I think season 1 wasn't my favorite season. Actually, I really do like season 2. So everything that's coming up is
you're very excited when I announced that we're just gonna continue doing My Hero Academia, because it's a series that, hey, I would actually like to watch and actually do a podcast about. So, and you were like, oh, you're gonna get to the best part.
I mean, I like season 2 specifically because of the sports festival arc, and I think that's honestly, there are so many different animes that have a tournament arc, and this is kind of the tournament arc thing. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, like in Dragon Ball Z, they had a tournament arc, remember? Yeah, the first season. I was talking about this with our friend Jerry.
Oh.
Yeah, we're talking about different power levels and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of power levels, so Besides the mistake, I got into the actual episode, the actual meat and bones of the season premiere, which was it's the first episode coming back, which is titled, well, in English, as That's the Idea or Chaco. And some of the main points I found was we opened up with kind of like a mysterious a person receiving a letter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's some old. It looked like some old dude in like a yellow jacket or something
Mm.
that was eating like one of those fish baked fish things.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it is probably All Might's previous person that handed out the power to him.
Mm.
So that's what I'm predicting. Well, you don't see his face; you just kind of see the lower half where he just takes a bite out of this pastry or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and you're just like, who's this guy?
Right.
What's going on? Because it starts out with a kind of opening with Midoriya talking about season 1 and all those events. That's why when I clicked the second one, I thought, oh shit, this is just another recap or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't. It was just like, oh, it's leading into the actual
Yeah.
episode, and he was just talking about like how All Might chose Midoriya to become the next person to have this power and to have those responsibility to become that hero, and that that was that detail. The next detail I wanted to talk about is the kind of the aftermath of the USJ kind of attacked, and
Mm.
the principal, hamster principal, little teddy bear principal, panda bear, not panda bear,
It's a mouse.
it's a mouse bear.
What's his name again? Principal.
I got the character list right in front of me. Just give me
I forgot the principal's name.
staff. These are a bunch of characters I've
It's
never
just as
seen.
simple as mouse. Principal mouse.
Principal Mouse. Nezu.
Oh, there you go.
Nezu's the principal, and they're sitting kind of like in like a little conference room talking about the villains, what happened, what like who do you think like orchestrated this attack, and like why would they do something like this, and Nezu came up with an idea that the character that had the hat on his face, Tomura,
Shigaraki.
Shinagari,
Shigaraki.
Shigaraki, as like a man child, and I think when I watched that scene again, I kind of felt like, oh, are they just kind of they're kind of previewing this idea that these villains have like a villain school,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder if that's the case here. If there's like, like I don't know, I just felt like, oh, he's saying this because he feels like these villains are being trained by someone.
Like there would be kind of like antithesis to the
yeah.
UA, right?
Yeah, kind of like a Dark Sister or something, or like a Twilight Realm where all the villains go out and like hone their villain qualities or something like that. So that's what I was thinking. And then Deku is talking about how the school closed down for a little bit, and then goes into class. Kids are just being kids, first day coming back from school after some crazy shit like that. I can imagine they have some cause for concern. And then the teacher comes back, all bandaged up, looking like the bad guy from Rurouni Kenshin, and Eraserhead, right? Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair, he did get kind of like...
He got absolutely mullered. He just like absolutely just kind of like got destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was surprising that he came back. I was expecting him to like sit out most of the season or something, or I thought, oh, you probably won't see him, or he'll be kind of like benched.
He's kind of like not necessarily like an integral character, but like he's like an important part of the characters, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, he's within the world, right?
I would say that he would kind of pass as like enough that he would have to stay in like a good amount of episodes. Like whereas like there's background characters, he's not in there.
Yeah. So he comes in, Eraserhead comes in, and he lets the students know that there is a tournament coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And the talk of this tournament for some of the students was, okay, it's kind of like a normal school activity thing that's gonna happen, but they're also thinking it's kind of soon. Like some of them are saying, like, isn't it kind of soon after what had happened, like literally months ago with the whole attack thing? But apparently, it's that idea of like, oh, you can't just let something like this happen to like stop everything and like these plans of like doing things for the school and everything. You can't let those things stop that. So I was like, okay, I could kind of see where the educators in this kind of UA building or a UA school kind of get their idea of like, okay, just because the villain thing happened doesn't mean we don't do this tournament thing, which people are expecting to happen. So there's that. And then in this episode, I thought something that was a little bit special is that you got to hear a little bit of Ochako's backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in this episode, after the whole talk of the tournament and everything, you got to get a little bit of Ochako's background. And which was very interesting when she's saying, oh, I want to be a hero just for the money. I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? You would expect like Ida or Midori to have like, oh, you want to do this for altruistic reasons to become like this person or better yourself in the community, but she dives a little bit deeper into it about like how her family was in construction, not having like the financial means to do a lot of things and stuff like that, and so she feels somewhat, well, she feels very bad about it, you know what I mean, and she wants to do something about it. So
it's
becoming a hero,
realistic cause.
Yeah, which at the very beginning I was just like, oh my god, well, so she's just doing this for the money, and then I was like, oh, okay, it kind of makes sense because it's just like a family background. There's like there's something to that. Yeah. It's like when she started explaining, you dive deeper into that idea. I was like, oh, she wants to do something so her family can be comfortable.
I mean, we do have to think about her heroism in this universe kind of like a little bit differently, right? Because there are a lot of like heroes that do it for the monetary value. I feel like there are also people in this universe that do it for very superficial reasons. Like if you're doing
for like fame
or notoriety.
Notoriety, fame. Yeah, we kind of see a little bit of that, and on a weird thing, it's like, oh yeah, that's something to be expected, at least for me, and like at least something. Like, say, watching Marvel movies, like, some of these characters are like, celebrities and stuff like that. Like, you don't see their, like, W-2s at the end of the year or something like that. Yeah. Like, whatever money they're making, if they're even making any money from doing, like, hero stuff, right? But the thing about this anime and, like, how they dealt with the storyline of, like, being heroes is that, oh, these are the day-to-day things. And, like, these are people... It makes it sound like these are people actually going through their lives and stuff like that.
I mean, My Hero Academia kind of works a little bit differently in terms of, like, living life as a superhero, right? Because then, if you think about Marvel and DC, it's like if we were to plant these superhuman beings into the world of, like, just our world. Yeah. But My Hero Academia is more so that having a power is kind of, like, a significant part about life, and not having one is seen as kind of being... Like, you're not in the circle.
Yeah, when everybody is, like, 80% of the world's population has, like...
But, I mean, it kind of makes you think, like, that whole thing about, like, after, like, just a month after the whole attack, they immediately went back to, like, doing the school festival and stuff like that. It kind of, like, if you think about it, applies into, like, a lot of their philosophy, right? Because if being a superhero is your job, you can never really stop doing your job, even if the worst happens. Yeah. And I think you'll probably see a lot more of it in the future, where it's like a superhero will go through something drastic, but then they just keep doing the exact same things over and over again, because it's not like I'm choosing to do this. It's more so like it's partially like an obligation, like you should be doing it anyways.
It's kind of like if you choose to become like a firefighter, or like something of that level of like, it's like everything in your not everything in your life, but a lot of people would be like, you're crazy for doing this, but you're trained to go to those things.
Like, and it doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. Like, if like a fire can happen just like right now, and then somebody can and like like you can't just like, hey, I want to call out sick. Like you
Mm.
just don't do that when you're a firefighter
Like, you
or
need to
something like that.
go.
You need to go. You know, it's your duty, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of lost my point there. I got wrapped up in firefighter.
A little bit, but yeah, no, I think it's My Hero kind of has an interesting take on how life is as a superhero, because it's we're so accustomed to seeing superheroes in the sense of like, I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, versus like Ochako, where it's like, I'm doing this because money.
Because of family reasons, yeah.
Ultimately, it's kind of like it's a little bit altruistic in the end, but like in its initial like, oh, I just want to do it because you get money for doing it as a job. It seems more kind of like a what would be the best way to put this? It seems more so kind of like a if I do this, I can use it as like financial support for my family to live better, versus I doing this because I just should be doing this type thing.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So towards the end of the episode, Midoriya and All Might kind of meet up and like talk about the whole power thing and stuff like that, and all the events basically leading up to the tournament. So this season premiere kind of like basically set the stage for the whole season, or at least I hope so.
I think so.
Because I feel like with Ochako's backstory and this whole tournament arc, and also looking at the Wikipedia page, this whole season is like 24, 23 episodes. Yeah, it's
I don't think it's that long. It might be, but off the top of my head, I don't remember.
Oh, whoops! I just clicked the tab for. Whoops! I'm clicking everything.
Because usually a season is like 12 episodes, so it could be a combination of season 1 and 2, but I don't remember.
You're looking at what I'm looking, right? It's 25 episodes.
It's 25.
25 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of episodes. It's gonna be a long season.
Oh, it's a really good season though.
Yeah.
I think.
And then the following season is another 25.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it wasn't.
Well, to be fair, the first season was 13 episodes. So that's what I was thinking. And I was counting out this season of podcast to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do 2 episodes.
I mean, I feel like it might be that the season, if I remember correctly, it might be split off into 2 arcs. But I might be wrong.
Okay. Wait, let me see.
There's like a couple big things that happen. So in the storyline, it could be 2 arcs.
Okay, it might be 2 arcs to be fair. Also, there was so yeah, that was the first episode. I vaguely remember the conversation that Midoriya and All Might, even though I just watched the episode, it was like I was furiously trying to write as many notes as I can, but I forgot. But the second episode, and we're gonna go into a little bit of the second one. I did see a good amount of season 2, about like maybe 30%.
Oh, really?
That's a good amount, but it's all the way back in December, and it's very fuzzy for me right now because I've been dealing with a lot of shit recently.
We should just literally pause and take a break and just watch it and then come back and be like, hey, we're here.
Yeah, episode 2. But the second episode, a little bit. What I remember is that they're prior to kind of getting into the stadium and doing all everything. The students of 1A, right? They are coming together talking about like the different challenges, what they're gonna end up doing, and then this guy, Todoroki, his name is Todoroki, right?
Yes.
Goes up to Midoriya, almost on a challenge level, and I was just trying to figure out, okay, is he gonna be like season 2 adversary level going on right now, or are we gonna dive deep, like I said earlier with Ochako's backstory? Are we gonna dive a little bit more deeper on the individual kind of like side characters? Because I have a feeling that he has some kind of backstory that we're gonna dive deep into.
Didn't you get a spoiler for like his character?
Okay, so
right?
Earlier this year, I don't know how I'm gonna incorporate this. Earlier this year, there was a meme that's been going around that I think it's on. Okay, so there's this thing on Facebook called subtle Asian traits. Uh, and there was this post that was saying, "Oh, a math teacher used anime as a way to put into their exams," and they were like, "Oh, this guy is so like otaku or whatever," and then it turns out to be a My Hero Academia
Question?
yeah, but based on Todoroki,
Oh.
where they explain like, oh, he has his power is balanced by ice and fire, and like, his power level is extreme. But if we put this to a number into a physics question, how much power would he use on his ice power to tone down on his fire power? And I was just like, okay. But it went on this whole rant or like this whole thing about like how he has like daddy issues or something like that. And I was just like, am I getting a spoiler? And I was just like, well, to be fair, I am 2 seasons behind. So to be fair, any spoilers I see, it's on me. So when I saw that, I was just like, okay, I'm pretty sure I get that we're probably going to get his backstory in season 2.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was literally, when I saw that, it was around January, December time. And it was like literally right after I saw that second episode. I was just like, what the fuck is going on?
I mean, if you think about it, this figurine kind of like confirms your suspicions about his powers.
You think so?
I mean,
the figure I specifically got in Japan.
Did you even? Oh, well, you kind of know about Todoroki, right? But you didn't really know him when you.
I didn't really know him because a lot of the focus on season 1 was Midoriya and Bakugo's background.
Yeah.
And like how those two kind of personalities kind of like, beat their like they don't, they kind of clash there. I can barely English right now.
Yay.
But well, those personalities kind of clash.
Mm-hmm.
And now this season looks like, oh yeah, we're gonna go deeper into other people's like backstory and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so episode 2, you kind of get that feeling. We're gonna dive deeper in episode 2. Trust me. This next episode, I'm hoping we could do episode 2, 3, and 4 maybe.
Yeah.
Just so we could get back on track.
Mm-hmm.
But his altercation with Midoriya leads into kind of like the first like kind of task or the thing that they have to do, which is to like go from point A to the point B or something. I'm trying to remember like the first task of like the thing.
The first task of the tournament arc is it's basically like a race.
Yeah, it's
what it is that you kind of have to go through different obstacles that they have. Like the first one is like a robot, and the second one is kind of like.
I only know about the robot one. Are these split into different?
There are a couple of different ones, but
like different episodes. Are these?
No, it's just one.
It's just one episode. Okay,
so the next one.
So.
Also, you have the intro of the robots. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, from what I remember, at the end of not season 2, the end of the second episode of season 2, there's the introduction of the robots that we saw from the first.
That's gonna be the
series.
first time. It's a race.
Yeah, so it's like like you said, it's like an obstacle race, point A to point B situation, right?
Yeah, and then depending on like who finishes first, second, third, like that determines how many like points you get.
Yeah, and is the person in last? Did they get expelled from you? I'm just kidding. It's over. I remember that was a small detail from season 1. Remember?
I remember that.
Yeah.
It could.
Could. I don't know. There's a lot of spoilers in this Wikipedia page for Boku no Hero. I was just looking at characters and like there's all these different characters I never even heard of.
That's why you don't look.
Or I think that maybe manga specific characters. I don't know.
Honestly, the
Guidance
manga,
counselor.
manga and My Hero the anime,
Yeah.
are pretty like spot on with each other.
Mm-hmm.
To be quite honest, like a lot of my friends who read the manga before watching the anime, they were like, "Oh, I read this in the manga and I couldn't wait to see it animated," and eventually it did. So a lot of it is just exactly how you would read it.
Yeah. So impressions about this season 2 and how it opens. Like I felt it was a good season opener. Like season 2 episode 1 was a pretty good episode, and it's dealt with the aftermath in a way of like, oh, it would make sense. They would want to sit all together, try to figure out what's going on, try to figure out next steps and stuff like that. I kind of wish there was a little bit more to that talking situation, but it's probably like a pacing thing. They can
It'll probably pick up.
Yeah, it'll probably pick up. But I was hoping that, oh, like if they were gonna go through this whole arc of like doing this whole like student thing, like I don't know. It's probably me as a person that also did events before, like did event planning, that I was like, oh, if I hear the shit that went down on the news at like the whole end of the United States, I would just be like, how am I gonna make sure the event that I'm running or like the event that I'm helping to execute, right? To make sure it's safe. You know what I mean? So kind of like missed that little thread in my mind, but that's just nitpicking at that point. Just like oh, okay, it's like it's not a reflection of actual reality, or like at least how I would have approached doing that.
There's things here and there, yeah.
Yeah, just things here and there, and just kind of like there's a little hope of like, oh, you're gonna get to know about other characters other than Midoriya, Bakugo, and everybody at UA and like the A1, 1A class. Yeah.
I can't say anything. This is one of my favorite arcs.
Oh, see.
I mean, okay.
Just this first episode. What do you think about this first episode, setting the stage for season 2?
Well, initially, obviously, I ended up watching like through everything, so it kept me going through. I feel like when I initially watched it, I probably skipped a good part of the recap portion of the first episode.
Yeah, like the actual very first episode.
Yeah, and then went on to it. I think it's a good setup. Like the way that it ends makes you want to keep finding out what happens. And obviously, I just immediately watched it right afterwards because I started watching it in the middle of season 3.
Okay.
So I just essentially was just like, oh my god, I can binge all these episodes.
I can binge all these episodes too.
You're actually lucky. Season 4 is coming up pretty soon.
See, I think season 4 is spring, isn't it?
I don't know. I heard September at some point, but. Anyways,
we have a lot of time. We could actually do 2 more seasons of My Hero Academia until then.
I know.
And then we could actually like stay on the new episodes.
I know. I'm excited for it though. My Hero's setup is usually really good. They do kind of have a tendency to subvert expectations of some of their characters. Obviously, with like Otako being like, I want it for money. But the money is supposed to be going towards my parents to help out with their jobs. Yeah. So, I think, at least it was a really good setup for the tournament arc. And then it kind of only goes up from there, really. Exactly. It is interesting, though, because Midoriya is technically going in, and he still doesn't know how to control the powers he has yet.
Oh, that was a small detail that I forgot to mention is the season 2 also kind of opens up. Midoriya did talk about like how, like all the events in season 1, but there was images kind of to me like suggest that there's events that are going to happen in the future or something like that, or maybe that's just his imagination, or maybe that's some artistic license.
I don't know
that they're using in season 2, but it was there was a thing that's like, oh, this looks like an older Midoriya. Or something like that, and like it looked like he had a better sense of his powers.
I don't know, but at this point, like if I remember correctly, like he's still kind of like
now, like in this current like storyline, like he's still a little kid. But there's portions of season 1 and season 2. I was like, oh, is this like a hero recounting his story to some degree?
It could be, but I think part of it is also like his problem is more so like. His growth comes in understanding the weight of his powers, right? Because in season 1, his powers are more so kind of like, oh my god, they're new. I can just and then break stuff, And now it's like he's going into like a tournament where he has to last through different rounds of whatever happens. Yeah, and so it's more so kind of like, how can I conserve as much as I possibly can in order to keep going in the tournament? Right. And it gets. I think eventually his character growth gets... I think it's interesting to see where his character goes.
Okay. Because right now, he's still just trying to get a handle on everything right now. Yeah.
I think around, like, season 3, season 4, he it seems like he starts to understand it a little bit better,
Mm-hmm.
but his situation kind of changes.
Quick fact check, I guess. Season 4, according to IGN and an article that was posted back in like last December, it's gonna premiere this October.
Yeah, September.
October 2019.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, will premiere in October. So we could actually get.
You get through a good
We
portion
could
of
get
it,
through
yeah.
a portion of like we could definitely get our season of anime podcast done, season 2, and then we'll probably be into season 3 when season 4 starts.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Maybe we could do this throughout summer.
Yeah.
We could shotgun a whole series.
Oh God.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, but I think right now I'm just predicting. We're gonna go through the.
Oh, interesting question.
Yeah.
In the tournament arc, who do you think will come out on top?
I feel like that might be a red herring. I don't know. Like, is it important? Like, I'm thinking.
No, I'm just curious of all the characters you.
Oh, just like in general, like any other characters.
Like, who do you think will be at the top by the end of the arc?
Maybe Mr. Daddy Issues. I'm just kidding.
Todoroki?
Todoroki. No, I don't think Midoriya will be on top.
Okay.
Like part of being a fan, like, oh yeah, I want my main character, my main boy, to be like, I want him to be like.
But there needs to be some loss. No.
Yeah, no, there gotta be some. He needs to learn adversity.
So not Midoriya.
So I'm not thinking Midoriya. I'm thinking maybe I'm thinking that something tells me like either that it's gonna be a group that might win. But I'm thinking Ochako for whatever reason.
You think Ochako's gonna be at
See,
top?
I want Ochako to be like, oh, it's gonna be validating to be like, oh yes, I can do it. I can prove it to my parents that I'm gonna be an awesome superhero and all this stuff, and they won't need to worry about anything ever. I just like that arc. I just like that idea of like, oh, it was like once she started explaining, that makes sense.
Oh, and you're like,
okay.
Now I want that to happen.
Now I want that to happen. There's no other character that comes to mind.
How about Ida?
I would, but I feel so. Here's the thing: I feel like Ida and like you know how like we were talking about hero pairs. I think Ochako and Ida kind of works together because Ochako can help Ida use his speed to like launch himself to enemies and stuff like that and like do attacks, and like the frog lady, frog lady, and like the little kid dude, Mineta, and like stuff like that. I like those pairings, and I don't know. That's why I was thinking like, oh, if there was like a pairing of like characters and stuff like that, like the team up thing again, like that would be kind of interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's, as far as I know, like of the people, Ida can be there, Ochako can be there. Todoroki, daddy issue dude,
is somewhere.
Somewhere. Oh, see, it's not a spoiler because I don't know the details. It's a funny joke, but I have no idea the context of this joke. So we'll see. We'll see later. And Bakugo's got to be up there too. Like a lot of the characters that was in the 1A class.
But at the top is Ochako.
Yeah, I want her to win. But I also feel like the whole I'm thinking a similar thing may happen in season 2 where you have this thing and it may be important but it doesn't become important. Like you know how that field trip everybody was excited to do this hero class thing and everything and then it gets bombarded by a villain. So I'm thinking and I'm assuming that like in my predictions right now that I wouldn't say the whole tournament is bullshit, but I'm saying that there's probably something that's going to happen where, oh, the tournament is not as important than this bigger problem that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking right now. I know I'm thinking something's going to go wrong.
I was like, that's like some Naruto level.
Yeah, I'm thinking something's going to go wrong. Maybe this is like Ruby season 3 thing for me where it's like everything goes to shit at season 3. But that's what I think right now. Okay. At least on this level of thinking now.
Okay.
But anyway, so I I think that might wrap things up for
Yeah.
this episode.
Mhm.
The hourglass was over about a moment ago.
Just a little bit.
While we're talking about our predictions. So please like, subscribe, ring that bell for any notifications. Whenever we be doing vlogs or anything like that, it'll be there. So until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.